Hey Boo Buddies, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Anya here, and I am going to be doing some art journaling today. And today my journaling prompt is fear, which you can tell by the title. So I have been thinking a lot about blocks and things that keep us from moving forward in our creative and just life in general, but creative endeavors. And fear keeps coming up around me, and not so much like phobias or monsters or scary things like that, so much as the topic of fear. I've seen a couple YouTube vloggers talking about fear, and even some TV sitcoms talking about fear, and fear is what is keeping us from doing what we want or what we need, and sometimes those overlap. What we need and what we want can be the same thing. So I'm gonna take the hint from the universe and the powers that be, and take some time in my art journal and reflect on fear. So I am going more for a color scheme, and I'm using a lot of materials you guys have seen me use in other videos, my craft book pages and some scrap paper bag, which makes for great brown paper. And then I've also got this yellow tissue paper that I actually don't remember where it came from, but there's something about brown and golden colors that spark harsh reality to me. I don't know if it's like it's just so far removed from green and blue, which tends to be a nice soft healing color scheme, but so I'm going more with the color scheme and less to do with the theme of the paper itself, and then I'll be adding some other elements that go really well with this color scheme. So the first is this creepy candle rubber stamp, and the bronze ink that I tried didn't show up. It shows up actually pretty subtly and nice in real life, but on the video I don't think it's picking up, so I went with this crimson ink pad that I found. And again, I used my moons, and they're not really showing up as well, so I switched back to the black. And I've got a scaredy cat in the middle. I've got a couple animal omen type symbols going on here, and the moon really isn't a scary something, but I have a reason for wanting to use it beyond the fact that I think this might be my favorite rubber stamp of all time. So some other elements I'm using is the Plague Mask Doctor sticker that actually a friend of mine, an artist friend of mine, they gave it to me at the beginning of 2020 last year. And then I've got some skeleton stickers that they're not quite paper, they're not quite vinyl, I don't know what the material is, but they were kind of hard to, because they have so many little detailed parts, I had to get the tweezers out to put them on. And again, I'm not really going with like phobia fears so much as sparking out the underlining things that are going on. Like, there's a lot of invisible things that correlate with fear specifically, such as fear of germs and fear of mortality and the skeletons and the plague and just the cat reacting and not being able to understand and see the whole picture. So that's really what I'm going for. I've been thinking a lot about the different masks or faces that fear wears in our day-to-day life. Sometimes fear looks like anger, sometimes it looks like humor, sometimes it doesn't look like what we think scary things should look like, but they really are different forms of fear. Fear of failing, fear of embarrassment, fear of something. And that has been something that I'm still trying to come to terms with and reflect on. I have two quotes that I'm adding into my fear reflection spread. The first is from one of my favorite books of all time, and that is, "Fear is only your enemy if you allow it to be." The second quote is don't worry if you're making waves simply by being yourself. The moon does that all the time, which is why I wanted to include my moon rubber stamp again, and to kind of give not just a reflection on being scared and the faces of fear, but also have a little bit of optimism and hope and call to action of what we can do with our fear and being okay with being afraid, because I really don't think being afraid is a weakness necessarily. Acknowledging fear, recognizing fear, and being able to work with it is a great way to move forward and evolve. And so in the last thing I'm adding with my bronze gold gel pen, so that I've got a nice crimson, black, and bronze color scheme going on with my ink, are the different forms that fear takes, such as perfectionism, procrastination, being too busy, and they really come down to the idea of you might mess up, you might fail, you might be judged, you might not be good enough yet, and those are all different things to be afraid of, and they're all valid, but it's been a big thing to just recognize that they are fear. So I hope you guys got a little inspiration for your own journaling time today, and I hope you are enjoying your weekend. Until next time, Boo Buddies. Bye.